Yes.
But people buy these apartments from a story that I saw, so
Yes.
they're like in another city and they buy these apartments in this newly built city, but for some reason they can't afford to even live in the place that they bought.
No, it's...
So they just make the payments and I guess visit once in a while and dust the, well, there's not even any furniture there, they just...
Yeah, it's just, they're ghost towns.
It includes the shopping malls too. You can get the shopping malls, but I couldn't believe
Maybe they all have wax fruit in them or something.
It's actually terrifying, but then think of all the resources that went into building these empty towns. I tell my colleagues in Australia, I have a very large group of investors that fly me out to Australia every year and their economy is booming. What has fueled their economy? It's the resources that they sell to China, to these empty cities. What's going to happen when the Chinese bubble bursts? It's going to affect Australian real estate. And so that's why I'm going in a month to warn them. This is a really good time to sell. Sell. Come to, I'll show you where to buy in the U.S. where it hasn't, it's still a good buying opportunity. And so how's this going to affect you? I'm sure you've heard about how Chinese money will come into our California market, all cash, as is, right? No appraisals, just buying.
Trump just sold an apartment for millions of dollars to some guy from China.
So, and it's common. And so do we have any real estate agents in the room who've experienced this? Just a lot of money. And so what's going to happen to the California market when, and that's not if, it's when the Chinese bubble bursts? How might that affect California real estate? Well, if you were Chinese and you lost all your money in the Chinese real estate, but you had some U.S. real estate, you might sell it. You need that money. So there could be a lot of liquidation. Yeah. Plus, not to mention now you don't have that buyer. So a lot of the frenzy has been fueled by this foreign money, and when that stops, now you've got to slow down. And then when they need to liquidate because they need that money, we might feel it. So again, I caution you because it's so fun to make money in California real estate. It really is. It's so fun. If you bought property a few years ago, you're sitting pretty. If you bought property in 2009, 10, 11 in California, you've doubled, if not tripled, your equity. And that's wonderful. But what isn't so wonderful is what happens on the other side. So just like any investment, if you're going to be in a kind of investment that's volatile, then you have to know your market timing. Or you have to be able to hold forever. So, just know that. Whereas some of the markets I'll show you in a bit, you don't have to be so stressed out about because they don't have those ups and downs. So housing demand, shadow demand, like I said, is this 3 to 5 million people that moved in with mom and dad during the recession. They're just starting to move out. And this is why we're starting to see household formations. The largest generation in the U.S. now is 22 to 24-year-olds, with 23 being the largest. Anybody have this age group? Okay. I have a 22-year-old, and she's turning 23, so you should go home and give your kids a big hug and love them up because they had the hardest time getting into college than any other generation. I'm serious, because they had the largest competition if they went to college. So these people are going to be driving our economy, scary or not, as our children are going to be driving the economy of the U.S. So we have to pay attention to this group.
Is that why tuition went up?
Then, but guess what? They're going to go down because these kids are gone.
Yeah.
It was a bubble. So now my daughter, other daughter, who's 15, I'm not going to tell her this, and don't you tell her this. It's going to be a lot easier for her to get into college. It's going to be cheaper, and it's going to be easier to get scholarships because these colleges expanded and they hired, and now they don't have the people. So you have to follow these guys. And then, so it'll drive 2/3 of household formation. That's huge. And 31% of Gen Xers want to buy. So that, these people, the Gen Xers were typically the ones who got hammered during this last recession. They were the ones who kind of bought their house and then lost it. And so they're not really in a huge hurry, so these aren't going to be our buyers necessarily. There's still 5 million underwater. And that means that they owe more on their house than the house is worth, and that's again in the judicial states of Nevada, Florida, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Ohio. So still good places to get deals. One of the buyers that has backed out of our markets tends to be the hedge funds, because they have kind of spent the allotted amount of money they were going to invest in real estate. They drove a lot of the price increases, and now they're kind of pulling out of the market. So it's another reason why we're going to see a slowdown. And again, the U.S. population growing by 4.5 million every year. But the big question is, when I say housing demand and household formation, what exactly do I mean by that? Are these people homeowners? Are they buying property, or are they renters?
Renters.
They're renters. That's really important information, because we can confuse that and think, wow, all these people are going to be buying homes. Not yet. When will they buy homes?
It's like an apartment.
Think about your kid. I mean, literally. I'm really entrenched in real estate investing. And I have told my daughter, who lives in Chico and has a job and could get a loan, I will put up the down payment, find a house. Has she looked? Nope. What is she doing?
Having fun.
She is not looking for a house. She is not looking for a house, and Mom is going to help her with that, and she's still not doing it.
It's
So,
Chico.
it's Chico. I mean, I could buy a house every $200,000. It would be cheaper to rent, but she won't. She won't. So these people they're not looking for homes, and most of them don't have someone like me to help them, and so they're saddled with huge college debt. And they're having the hardest time getting jobs. So, and they're getting married later, and they're having children later. So I'm going to say 10 years. Early 30s, I think that's when they might start looking. So what's nice is that we as investors can buy these homes, rent them out for about 10 years, and in 10 years, oh my, prices are going to go insane, because you're going to have the largest generation here buying. That's going to be a really good time to make money. But it's a really good time to buy it now when they're not interested, right? All right, at least we get our money back maybe from college debt or something from our kids. They buy the house for more, right? All right, so I'm going to skip this, but the lending environment, I'll just say quickly, is loosening up a little, not much, but it's loosening up a little. But I will go back to that, interest rates. Who thinks that who thinks interest rates will go up? Okay, what do you think will happen to the real estate market when that happens? Level out?
It'll tighten up some.
Okay.
It won't grow as fast.
Yeah. Okay. That would seem to be the case, but historically speaking, every time that interest rates went up, actually home prices continued to go up. Because generally interest rates go up when the economy is booming, and so as people are making money, they also are able to sort of keep up with the increases. So the main thing you want to be aware of, I'm not so worried about interest rates going up. In the 80s, when interest rates were at 16%, home prices were still going up. It's crazy. And affordability was out of whack. It's really more what I came back to before, supply and demand. That's the thing we want to look at. So when we're looking and identifying good markets, we pay attention to permits versus job creation. If there's too many builders coming in and more than jobs are coming in, we're going to see oversupply.
Let me ask one more question about that.
Yes, okay, I'll hurry.
Equation. What about inflation? Is that a factor, or is that something you just say the Fed is going to deal with?
Well, the Fed they're trying to create inflation. So usually when our government wants something, they get it, and they want inflation. Why would our government want to create a situation where we have to pay more every year for things?
Because it
Yes.
lowers the price of their own goods.
Yes, yes. If you can manipulate the market like that and say, I'm going to borrow $6 trillion, but now I'm going to make that worth less every year, that's a great plan. So you can either be depressed about that and say, wow, every year the government's trying to make my money worth less and take a bunch of it at the same time, and make the things I'm buying more expensive. How do I win in this scenario? And so I've got 5 minutes to explain that. Okay. So I just wanted to say for these are some of the markets that we've identified as great buys right now. In these markets, we've set up teams for you and agents and wholesalers that know how to find the properties, renovate them for you, and manage them, put in qualified tenants for a turnkey investment that takes care of you, because investing in these areas is really scary. So if you go to our website, join for free. Actually, Aristotle, are you here? Where is he?
You want me to get them?
Yeah, because he can pass out these flyers.
No problem.
Membership is free, and we give you the data once you're a member on these markets, so you can find out why we like them. And then the data, and then the referrals to the teams in those markets who serve our members by them helping you find great deals there and taking care of you. And just like kind of a Yelp sort of situation, if these teams that we found in these markets don't treat you well the way we expect it, they're not going to be on our referral list, and they're going to get some negative feedback. So they want to keep our members happy. That's it. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. So you can join for free. When you do, you get access 2 weeks free to our Real Wealth Investor Academy that has just tons of market information and education for investors, and specifically out-of-town investors. But just to give you an idea of the kinds of things you can do with your money, I had a woman come to me. I said this on the break. She heard me on the radio and said, you know, we just inherited this property in San Francisco. It's dilapidated. It needs all this work. We don't have the money we inherited. It needs like hundreds of thousands of dollars to even make rent ready. And it's San Francisco, the worst place to be a landlord, absolutely horrible. They didn't even want to think about it, so they just wanted to sell it. And I said, well, you know, if you sell it, you're going to have to pay out capital gains. I can help you exchange into something else. So they got a price opinion from the broker, said it was worth $800,000, and the woman said, well, this is a seller's market, because you listen to me. I'll just list it for 1.2 and see what happens. She got a 1.5 all cash offer, closed in 10 days. This person paid double what it's worth. And then she's like, what do I do with $1.5 million? I don't know what to buy with that. So we were able to get her these, like 20 of these kinds of properties, you know, that basically she went from having to feed a property that was in a bad part of town and needed work to having totally renovated, like brand new properties in good neighborhoods. She went to $20,000 a month passive income. And we helped her do that exchange in 45 days. I just want you to see your options, because a lot of times we don't know. Here's Jacksonville, Florida. This is an area that's going to benefit from the expansion of the Panama Canal. We really like that. You could get a house, pay $52,000, renovate because it's been in foreclosure, total in about $99,000. I like the 1% range, meaning you get 1% of purchase price in rent. And so that's one. Indianapolis, another market. I love $63,000 for a property that rents for $795. You're not going to find that here. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. See, and I love this stuff. It's so fun for me. Did you know? I know you don't know this, but I don't think you know this. Does anybody here know that Pittsburgh is now #2 in film production?
Yeah.
You knew it! Oh my gosh! I just bought a duplex in Pittsburgh for $50,000 next to the new $20 million film studio going in here. This is the type of thing that's really fun, and I love showing you how to do that, because each side rents for $500. That's a lot of cash flow. So these, you know, just look outside your neighborhood. You'll be shocked at what's out there. Cincinnati, steady, steady, steady. We have investors that love investing in Ohio because the cash flow is so high. You have to wrap. Oh, are you from Ohio?
No, but I've got a bunch of property in Ohio.
And it's fantastic, right?
Outside
Steady.
of Cleveland's just booming.
Absolutely. I'm invested in Ohio too. I love it. I'm going there next week. IRA plans. Talk to this beautiful woman, Karen, that can help you. You can buy property in your IRA, self-directing it, and you can even finance your IRA. So you could buy one property. You know, I can show you how to leverage your IRA and really increase your returns that way. And then finally, I just want to show you the accelerated wealth plan that I get really excited about for those of you who maybe don't have the $1 million house and really want to get into the game. Let's say that each one of these houses is $100,000 and you put $20,000 down. I want to make sure you know that you can get up to 10 loans, conventional investor loans, fairly easy if you have good credit, and reserves and so forth. And what would be the payment on a $80,000 mortgage, $100,000 home, $80,000 mortgage? It's going to be under four. It's going to be
430.
like 3 something.
Yeah, 380.
3 because its interest rates are so low. So do you think you can qualify for a $380 payment?
Yeah.
Yes. So all these people you know that can't get into the California market, can't get into the real estate game, are not informed. They can. This is a car payment. It's a car payment, right? And so so that's the mortgage here. You every year you buy one, or if you can buy 2, it's $20,000 down. If you buy 10, you put $200,000, let's say $250,000 with closing costs into it. Now, what I teach people is each one of these houses should cash flow about $300 a month with that kind of financing. So by the end of the year, that's $3,600 a year in cash flow. 10 of them is $36,000, right? How much is my mortgage on the first one? $80,000. So if I'm getting $36,000 a year in cash flow and I put all of that towards this first loan, how quickly will I have this house paid off? $36,000 a year, $80,000 mortgage.
3 years.
A little over 2. A little over 2 years, you're going to have this house paid off. Now you've got more cash flow. So you pay this, bam, bam. You've got 10 homes paid off in less than 12 years. Now you have $1 million portfolio. You started with between $200,000 and $250,000, and it's cash flowing $100,000 a year.
Yes.
Find me a better investment than that. Thank you. At our event, we actually celebrate investors sitting in the room. We're like, I got another paid off, you know, and we all cheer and have drinks. It's like so exciting to show that this is possible. And then finally, because I know I'm out of time, let's say you did exchange that $1 million property for 10. Now what happens if your property here is vacant, or there's an earthquake or something happens to that one property?
Still got 9 giving you money.
What happens if one of these properties suddenly has a vacancy?
Yeah.
You have 9 others. You're diversified. That's it for today. We have a booth here, and Aristotle is here somewhere. I don't know, he must be at the booth. But we have resources for you, and we'd love to help you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And